of the football season, while it can be exciting, especially if your team is in playoff contention, it can also be a tad confusing. If you're a little bit confused about the Ravens' playoff chances, what they need to do to win the division, what they need to do to make the playoffs, you have come to the right video. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. We're breaking down everything from AFC North chances, what Baltimore needs to happen from every other team for the rest of the year to lock down that title. Thanks so much for tuning in. I am your host, Joey Petersen. This is Ravens Rundown. We are in the midst of a subscriber battle with our Steelers Talk channel. They had us a couple days ago. We've gained the lead, but it is slight. It is slim. We need you guys to do the rest of the dirty work. Keep hitting that sub button. We're going to bury our Steelers Talk channel this week, and then we're going to bury them on Saturday. I can feel it. Let's look at how the AFC seeding percentage chances are looking at as of right now. It's all done and dusted pretty much that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be number 1 seed. The Bills are the high favorite for the number 2 seed at 67%. The Steelers, that number 3 seed, 46%. But if you can see right there, there's still 3 other teams behind the Steelers for that number 3 seed. Texans all but have that number 4 seed locked up at 81%. Baltimore's at 42% for the 5 seed. Los Angeles, 39% for the 6 seed. And the Broncos, 42% for the 7 seed. So, seeing all that right there, let's talk just Baltimore. Number 3 seed, they've got a 24% shot. 5 seed, like we said, where they're sitting right now, is a 42% shot. And that number 6 seed, they have a 25% chance of ending the year at that number 6 seed. We talked about the Week 15 matchups last week, what we wanted to happen, what we needed to happen. Here were the results for all the teams in AFC playoff contention. The Chiefs beat the Browns. Bills beat the Lions. Steelers lost to Eagles. Shout out Philadelphia. Texans beat the Dolphins 20-12. Ravens beat the Giants. Chargers took a big L to the Buccaneers. Broncos beat the Colts. That, of course, means the Colts got destroyed by the Broncos. This is how it sits right now. The entire AFC playoff picture from top to bottom, just kind of a different view. We already know the seeds. We know the records, and you see in that wild card Ravens at number 5 and Broncos at number 6. They're tied, same record. However, Baltimore did beat Denver in head-to-head, which gives them the number 5 seed. However, if Baltimore loses on Sunday, Denver wins, those 2 places would be switched. I want to hear from you guys, okay? Because we're going to break it down in a little bit deeper form in the next couple of minutes. What is your ideal round 1 matchup for Baltimore? Do you even want the 3 seed, or are you fine with going on the road and taking on the Houston Texans? You let me know in the comment section down below. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's YouTube video. YouTube might throw you an ad break in just a second or two. If that happens, take advantage of it. Scroll down the comment section and reply to our pinned comment. So for all those teams, here's who they got in Week 16. Chiefs are playing the Texans on Saturday, same time as we play the Steelers. Bills take on the Patriots. Steelers take on the Ravens. Texans take on the Chiefs. Obviously, Ravens, Steelers. Then Chargers, Broncos. They face off Thursday Night Football tonight. That one's going to have big implications. And the Colts play the Titans. So this is what we're rooting for, okay? What can I root for, Joey? Going into this weekend, well, I got 3 games to look out for. First of all, obviously you're rooting for the Ravens to beat the Steelers. That's what we root for every time those 2 teams played. That's who you root for every single weekend. Nothing changes. Then you're kind of looking at tonight's game, Chargers-Broncos, and you're thinking with the Broncos and a 9-5 record, same as Baltimore, let's just give them another loss. You want the Chargers to beat the Broncos. And then Chiefs, Texans, you want the Chiefs to win that game, even though you hate the Chiefs. But you kind of want the Texans to not move up to that 3 seed and kind of sit and stay where they are at that number 4 seed. If all 3 of those things happen, okay, if the Ravens win, if the Chiefs win, and if the Chargers win, Baltimore goes from having a 33% chance to win the number 3 seed and win the division, to win the division, to a 48% chance, okay? So to still to come on today's episode, we got best case scenarios for Baltimore, and we go a little bit deeper into the AFC North, how it shapes out for the rest of the year, and what you can be rooting for. Before we get into any of that, I got to give a massive shout out to our sponsor on today's show, and that is our friends over at Prize Picks. It's the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports, and if you want to make your holidays bigger and brighter, then you should use Prize Picks because it's the best place to get real money action while watching all your favorite sports. Instead of 200 times your cash, in December it's now 1,000 times your cash. Prize Picks now offers MasterCard as well for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. The best part is you don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Join now because of the holiday season. Prize Picks is giving away 2 free picks in December, and also they're giving away $30+ million in rewards during Picksmas. Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this football season. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds. Turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on Prize Picks. There's my picks going into the weekend. I'm going with my Tennessee Volunteers. More on rushing yards for the quarterback, more on rushing yards for the running back as well. And guys, I know it might seem like, I don't know if I want to dive into Prize Picks. Guys, the offer is $50 when you just play 5. You'd kind of be ridiculous and silly to not even take advantage of that. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. There's been a lot of MVP talk this week, not on this channel specifically, but all over ESPN, all over social media. Before we look at any more playoff things, I need you to do something for me, okay? 1 like on today's video equals 1 vote cast for Lamar Jackson to be MVP. If you think he deserves it, show me. Like the video. So, if you look at our division odds from New York Times to win the AFC North, they currently sit at 37%. So what's the best case scenario for Baltimore? Pretty simple. Win out, okay? Best case scenario is you win out the rest of the year. And what do your odds turn into if you win out? They turn into 74%, okay? Which is pretty good if you ask me. But if you beat Pittsburgh and you beat Houston, but you lose to Cleveland at the end of the year, the odds take about a 50% dip to 25%, okay? So it shows you just how important those AFC North divisional games are. If you beat Pittsburgh and you beat Cleveland but lose to Houston on Christmas Day, then your odds are 47%. Basically, they're telling you, hey, it's a coin flip. But if you lose to Pittsburgh, doesn't matter if you beat Houston and Cleveland by 1,000 points each, you're not taking home the division title because if Pittsburgh wins on Saturday, they wrap up the entire thing right then and there. So my take on this whole thing is you just have to treat every single game from here on out as a must-win. You might have a little bit of room to lose the game to Houston, but I would advise to not have that happen, okay? That's just my advice. So treat every game like it's a must-win. Keep this in some way or another, some form or fashion in your hands, and just win, baby, okay? Like Al Davis once said, keep it simple, win the football games. Let's look at some other scenarios, okay? Some other things that could happen and how that affects Baltimore if they do happen. So if you win out and Pittsburgh loses to Kansas City on Christmas Day, you have a 100% chance to win the division. But if you win out and Pittsburgh also wins their last 2 games, then Pittsburgh wins the division. And if you lose to Houston, it doesn't matter if Pittsburgh also loses to Kansas City because if they beat Cincinnati, Pittsburgh wins the division. So you can kind of see Pittsburgh has a little bit more of the upper hand if you tie in the AFC North. They've got a little bit more of an upper hand, but still, they have a harder schedule to play. We'll look at that in just a second. Before we do, I want to hear from you guys. I asked this a couple days ago. I want to know if your feelings have changed ever so slightly. Who wins the division? Are you going with Pittsburgh or are you going with Baltimore? Let me know in the comment section down below. So here's how Baltimore's schedule looks, shapes out the rest of the year, and how the Athletic, what they think those games will end up as, right? What the win percentage chance for those games is, okay? Coming up on Saturday, just 2 days from now, you take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Athletic thinks you got a 66% chance to win that one. Against the Texans, Christmas Day, practically a coin flip. They give you a 51% shot. I'd honestly give a higher percentage to win that game than I would Pittsburgh. That's just me. And then that New Year game, January 5th against the Cleveland Browns, they're giving you a 74% chance to win. Just yesterday, Browns announced that Dorian Thompson-Robinson will be their starting quarterback, so you don't have to face Jameis Winston. Unfortunately, you don't get to experience the Jameis Winston experience, but hey, last time you did, it bit you in the ass. So how does it look for Pittsburgh? Well, they've got a 34% chance to win the game against Baltimore, then a 49% chance to win the game against Kansas City, and then a 55% chance to win that final game against the Cincinnati Bengals, okay? So, what you got to root for from here on out? You got to root for Pittsburgh to lose a couple of games, hopefully that game against Kansas City. Wouldn't mind the game against Cincinnati either. And you just got to hope to win out. I know it's a tough schedule. I know there's a lot to play for. I know there's a lot at stake. But you just got to hope at the end of the day, the Ravens just keep winning football games. And if they do, they'll have a good chance to lock down that number 3 spot, lock down the division, and have a home playoff game, which is all you can hope for at this point in the season. Don't jinx us. If you're still watching, it's obvious you love the Ravens. Like the video for good luck over these next 3 weeks, okay? We cannot just let this pass by. I'm a superstitious guy. At least do it for my sake. Like the video. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. This has been the Ravens Rundown. I am your host, Joey Petersen. If you want continual coverage of the Baltimore Ravens as they make a push for the playoffs, this is the best place to get it. So hit that subscribe button.